Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Bob, and welcome to my Descent into Avernus Dungeon Master's Guide series. The purpose of this series is to break down the information in the book into manageable chunks, that way it can cut down on your prep time. You can use these videos almost like a pre-reading, so that way when you do read through the book, you have an understanding of what's to come. Or, if you've read the book already, you can use this video to reinforce the ideas already in the module. And this video is coming just at the perfect time because today's date is March 22nd, and we just got, this past week, the release of the new Wizards of the Coast book, Candlekeep Mysteries. This book could really help with fleshing out Candlekeep's setting and getting your characters to be a little bit more engaged there rather than just going there very briefly, which is what the book kind of states. I'm also going to discuss how to incorporate these adventures into your game. The book breaks down the final sections of the chapter into 4 distinct parts. The first is what happens in the aftermath of the fall of the Vanthamper Villa. The second part is the journey to a great library called Candlekeep and what type of events will happen on the way. The third section is Candlekeep itself, which is what that book is going to maybe help us flesh out a bit. The fourth part is getting the group to Elturel, which is in Avernus. So let's start with the final encounters in Baldur's Gate. There's really one major encounter here, but it all relates to talking to Captain Zaj. Since Captain Zaj recruited the group into the Flaming Fist service, it's only natural that once the Cult of the Dead 3 has been destroyed, perhaps even the Lammer Vanthamper has been killed, that they talk to him and get their payment. Now, if you watch my Under the Villa section, which I will link above, you will see that you probably met a man named Philaster Fisk. Philaster knows to take the group to Candlekeep because he has a friend there that can open up the puzzle cube, and that would lead them to the next section of the book. But let's say your group did not free Philaster Fisk, or perhaps Philaster was killed in the escape from the villa, then you're going to need another NPC to guide them. In comes Commander Porter. The characters are concluding business with Captain Zaj when Liara Porter, who is in command of the Flaming Fist because Older Ravengard is now gone, she can be the one to guide the group to Candlekeep to seek out Silvira Savakis because she knows that she can uncover the truth about the puzzle box, and she may even understand the mysteries of the Shield of the Hidden Lord. This encounter feels totally optional, to be in all honesty, but I had my group meet Liara Porter just because I think that even though they didn't need her to give her the quest to go to Candlekeep, it was a nice way to tie in the Flaming Fist, and hopefully this Liara Porter will be in favor of them finding Older Ravengard and give them another layer or another hook to saving Elturel, not just because it's the right thing to do. The journey to Candlekeep is a very vague and kind of open world option for you to use. They give you an idea about a couple of locations and things that could happen. You can either have the characters get passage on a boat and travel down the Chiantha River, or they can just head west on foot. There's only one actual location that they can stop to on the river, but it is up to you as how many adventures you want them to get into en route to Candlekeep. The first is Worm's Crossing. It's basically these 2 giant bridges that connect to an island in the middle of the river. This could be a chance where bandits will attack, or perhaps even another alternative would be the Cambion encounter that they have in the book, but we'll talk more about that in a second. Again, this is really more of an opportunity for you to have the group do something on the journey, and if you don't like just having sort of like filler activities like this, you could skip the travel the entirety and just have the characters arrive at Candlekeep. You know, I just feel like it depends on what you want to do. If you're looking to spread this out, if you're looking to make it a little bit longer of a campaign, having this whole journey be a session could be something you do. The actual event that they have here, that the encounter that they've set up in the book, is the Knights of the Shield encounter. They're a group that wants to free Gargoth and wants to get the shield back. One of these members is Cadris, a lawful evil Cambion. For those of you who don't know, a Cambion is the offspring of a fiend, usually a succubus or incubus, and a humanoid, probably a human. The Cambion inherits aspects of both parents, but their horns, leathery wings, and sinewy tail are the hallmarks of otherworldly patronage. So as I said, Cadris, this Cambion, is using the Alter Self spell to disguise himself. He's going to pretend to be a farmer stuck on the side of the road, pulling a hay wagon, and he's going to ambush the characters when they try to help. I actually set this up so that it would be, he would take over like the body of a father. He killed a farmer, and then his kids didn't know that that wasn't really their dad. Maybe they had some suspicions, and so once the group met the farmer on the side of the road, they actually figured it out by talking to his children that dad's been acting strange, and then they didn't trust him, and they realized he's actually a Cambion in disguise. There's one final event that could happen on the way to Candlekeep, and this is the one thing that I would not leave out of your campaigns. This is Rhea's Tale of the Hellriders. Now, as you probably know, Rhea Mantlemorn is a character, an NPC that the group meets in the Low Lantern, Rhea is a Hell Rider in training. She's young, but she's really eager and wants to save Elturel. Rhea is probably going to be with the group for a long time. You could probably even keep Rhea with the group for the rest of the entire campaign if you felt inclined to do so. But either way, Rhea is going to be with them most likely at this part of the adventure, and so at some point on the journey to Candlekeep, she will explain the tale of the Hell Riders and how they got their name. There's a really long read aloud section here, but I wouldn't change it and I wouldn't leave it out. It's actually really well written, and she tells the story of how the Hell Riders of Elturel trained to fight demons and devils. They rode with Zariel at their front, and they ended up attacking the devils in the Nine Hells, ultimately losing, and with Zariel getting captured. The rest of the Hell Riders retreated, but they were praised for their bravery and heroism. I would definitely keep this in because it does tie in another layer to Elturel, and Rhea is such an important NPC, I think. Is she like the driving force for perhaps a group that is a little bit apathetic to saving Elturel? She can act as that moral compass. The third section I'm mentioning today is Candlekeep, and this is the one that I think needs to be fleshed out the most. Candlekeep is such a vast and expansive library that it would be a shame if the characters only got there, met one NPC, and then left. The book does have two separate locations. One is entering Candlekeep, so you can play that scene where they enter the keep itself. A bunch of monks are going to be at the front gates, not allowing travelers in unless they provide a book. Now, there's a couple ways to do this. The characters may have unique books. In fact, in this case, you could just say, all of you, for the next session, you're going to need to bring a book. So you can create a title that your character would really like to bring in, make it sound unique and kind of wild and crazy, because if it sounds too normal, it won't work. That's just something that you could have them do as a role-playing experience, nothing gameplay-wise that they need to have found. If you're looking for a gameplay tie, then Philaster Fisk might be able to get some books from his home in Little Calimshan before leaving Baldur's Gate. Philaster could bring enough books for the entire group. The second place, an encounter in Candlekeep that doesn't include bringing Silvira the Puzzle Cube, is the Hearth. Now, this gives me a little bit of like a university or college campus vibe to it. It's basically a pub and an inn in the Candlekeep that the characters can go to. There's a couple of very interesting characters, including an ogre that wears a headband of intellect to read some of these more intense books. But it's really more of a role-playing opportunity here. There's no like encounter, there's no map. In fact, for this entire last section of the chapter, there's no battle mats, there are no maps at all. It's really just up to you to decide what you'd like to run. And that's where I think that Candlekeep Mysteries can really come in handy, and we'll talk about that in just a second. Silvira Silvakis is the NPC that the characters are going to meet. Silvira is an archmage, so she's very powerful. She has extensive knowledge on the Nine Hells as well as demon and devil lore. She also has a Quasit familiar that they'll get to meet when they enter her workshop. Philaster will bring the group to her. So after presenting the puzzle box, it says here that Silvira will basically spend some time analyzing it, but eventually will open up the puzzle cube, revealing the entire contract between Thavius Krieg and Zariel. Rhea is very upset if she's with the party and she hears of this because, again, Thavius Krieg is kind of like the hero of Elturel. To hear officially that he has now entered into contract with the devil is going to be very upsetting. But to add insult to injury, it's not even just that he made a contract with Zariel for himself and his own soul. He has damned the entire civilization of Elturel itself. He has made everyone in Elturel sign a contract called the Creed Resolute. All persons bound by oath to defend Elturel are also considered forfeit. By signing this Creed Resolute, this book that was in possession of Thavius Krieg, all the citizens have now forfeit their souls. Silvira will also mention that the Shield of the Hidden Lord that one of your characters may have in possession is actually containing the Pit Fiend Gargoth. In fact, she'll go through and tell everyone about this secret, so your whole group will know. Of course, she will offer to keep Gargoth and keep the shield in Candlekeep where it will be safe, but it's up to you if you want to let your characters do that. She will not press the bearer of the shield to give it up. She will just warn them and caution them not to let Gargoth free. Of course, I would definitely try to urge you to give the shield to a character that would be more greedy and would want to keep the shield, because it does give them significant powers that they would normally not have. So if you can keep the shield with the group, that would be also not only a source of drama for later in the game, but it's also really fun, and you get to kind of whisper things from Gargoth's perspective to that person. Lastly, Silvira will give the group a map of Avernus. Now, this map is the one that's in the book. It's the big fold-out map, but she will also tell them that this map may not be so reliable. The person who created it ended up going insane. Finally, the Getting to Avernus section, which is the final section of the chapter, is all about how you can get to Avernus. As the book reads, you can get to Avernus by seeking out a wizard named Traxigor. Silvira will know where to send the group. Traxigor is a archmage that lives about 20 miles from here. He lives on the coast, he lives in a big tower, and he has an NPC named Lulu and Hollyphant with him. You could just have Silvira cast the spell Plane Shift instead of Traxigor, but you will then need to have Lulu at Candlekeep so that the group can meet her. Lulu is probably the most important NPC in the game, and so it's very essential that you get Lulu to the group. But if they go to see Traxigor, Traxigor is an archmage, but he is also polymorphed permanently into a otter. He prefers it this way. Lulu does not remember any of her memories of Avernus and her time with Zariel. Lulu was Zariel's steed. It's her golden mammoth that she rode into battle on, but can be transformed back into a Hollyphant when not fighting demons and devils. Now, Lulu has lost all of her memories as well as her innate spellcasting trait. She does regain spellcasting and memories over the course of the entire campaign. It says that you can give her some memories back in Chapter 2, in Chapter 4, and in Chapter 5. I suggest you look at this section. Some of these memories are really important, though. I would not give out some of the important memories too early. Some of the memories that I would give out right away would be something like, it was Zariel who sent me back here. I don't know why. Maybe, just maybe, there's a tiny little spark of goodness deep down inside her still. Plant that seed for redemption early on. But I wouldn't say things like, the demon lord Yunagu wants to destroy Zariel's sword. In fact, just mentioning Zariel's sword, because it is a kind of a very important item in the game so early, I just wouldn't do that. I would just keep that as a secret. So look over these memories, decide which ones you think are best to start off with. Again, I think something like the 6th one, or even the 4th one, that she wandered Avernus for a while and made some friends like Mahadi, who you'll see in the Avernus section. Those are kind of harmless memories to give off at the beginning. I would save some of the more important and powerful ones for the end. But once the group meets Lulu and Traxigor casts Plane Shift, he is going to send the group to Avernus, specifically to the city of Eltrol, which is being dragged down to the River Styx in chains. And we're going to talk more about the Avernus section in the next video. However, I do want to briefly touch on Candlekeep Mysteries. So this book came out a couple days ago, and it is fantastic. Not only is there an entire chapter dedicated to fleshing out Candlekeep, but there is 17 individual adventures that you could plug in to this campaign. You can use it to plug it into any real campaign, but it really works here because there's a couple of adventures that don't take the group away from Candlekeep that you could easily use. Section 1 talks all about the Avowed and how there are 300 of these basically workers at the library that keep everything running, from powerful archmages that run the library and keep it safe to the lowly sages who make sure that the books are being maintained. It also expands on locations. There are so many more places to go, and they also have a full-scale map that you can use and give to your players so they can navigate the keep. Now, your group is probably going to be about 4th or 5th level at this time when they head to Candlekeep. So you're only going to have a few options as to which adventures, one-shots you might want to throw into the campaign. There is the introductory adventure, which is called The Joy of Extra-Dimensional Spaces. I actually ran this first-level adventure on my channel the other night. I'll link to the video there above. But it was a really fantastic adventure, and I think it could be scaled up, making the encounters and the combats, which are actually numerous, to appropriate level for your group. But it's such a fantastic adventure in Candlekeep, and it does stay in Candlekeep. I think you want to keep your group there, because there's no real reason for them to leave. But if they happen to get into some sort of adventure while they're there, waiting for Silvira to crack the puzzle cube, or maybe waiting for Silvira because they are she's not there when they arrive, those could all be reasons why they'd have to stick to Candlekeep, and these adventures can work. So I'm going to summarize the two ones that I think will be good. The Joy of Extra-Dimensional Spaces is basically a one-shot adventure where the group finds a book in a sage's quarters named Mistreus. When they find this book called The Joy of Extra-Dimensional Spaces, they are able to decipher some code and open a portal to a Mordenkainen's Magnificent Mansion spell that's hidden in like this pocket dimension. Once they enter the mansion, they unfortunately get stuck inside and have to figure out, in an escape room-esque style, a code to get out. And it's a really great one. It can all take place in one night, definitely 3 hours, 3.5 hours, and I think that would be a good one to put into this campaign. If you're looking for another adventure that's a little more appropriate level-wise, Shemshime's Bedtime Rhyme is fantastic, as the characters read this kind of pop-up book style story, kid story, the nursery rhyme gets stuck in their heads, and almost like a disease that can be spread. And so they end up getting quarantined in Candlekeep. So these two adventures are really great, and they keep the group in Candlekeep, which I think is important. If you're running an adventure from this book, I think you should tell your group that you are and let them know, so that there's no sort of in-game reason for them to want to not partake in this adventure. They would just, because they know it's a one-shot and you're taking a break from the campaign, it would allow their characters to just, or maybe the players' minds, just accept this a little bit more. But I can't say enough good things about this book. I really love it, and I really love one-shots in general. So I would pick this book up either way, if not just for the Candlekeep section alone, so that you can flesh out the campaign. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. You can also hit the bell icon to get notified whenever I drop a new video. I'll see you all on the tabletop. Bye.